What's up, guys? Jacob Ober here. So, I have been thinking a lot, and I have seen a whole lot of opinions on the Milwaukee Bucks, the Milwaukee Brewers lately, about the city of Milwaukee, about its market size. You know what? There's been a lot of disrespect of this city and these teams in the past year or so, ever since both of these teams kind of became good. You know, the Brewers won the Central, they made it all the way to Game 7 of the NLCS. Now the Bucks are the #1 seed in the NBA, 46-14. There has been so much disrespect for these two teams. I am so goddamn sick of this. I can't stand it. I cannot stand the disrespect that these two teams get, all because of market size. You know what? Wisconsin sports, you know, the Packers are a little different because they're established, you know. I mean, of course, the other two teams are established here as well. They're pretty historical franchises when you look at it. But, of course, the Packers have been around ever since 1919 and 1921 when the NFL was founded. So they kind of get a pass. They're a historical franchise, and they have fans, of course, all across the United States and the world, of course. They're one of the biggest fan bases out there. But for these two teams, you know, for Milwaukee, for the Brewers and the Bucks, all people talk about is the market size when these two teams are good. And it leads to disrespect of the product on the court or the field. It leads to that. And I am sick of it. I mean, market size should have nothing to do with whether or not you think a team is good or not. And it's very obvious to me that a lot of these national media pundits who say that, oh, the Bucks are just overrated, oh, the Brewers are just a flash in the pan, they say that only because they play in Milwaukee. That's the only reason they say that. If the Bucks played in LA or New York, or if the Brewers played in Miami or something like that, they would love these teams. They would say, oh, clearly they're the best team, you know. But since they're in Milwaukee, you know, it somehow makes a difference. You know what? Milwaukee is a great city, it's a great town, and it has a really, really passionate fan base, including myself. I don't live in Milwaukee, but I've been there many times, and there is a really bad reputation out there for Milwaukee that simply isn't true. People think it's like a tiny little blip on the coast of Lake Michigan. It's nothing really that special, but it's a fantastic city, and it is growing every single day. And the Bucks and the Brewers are making the city kind of experience an economic boom right now. And the city itself, it's awesome. I mean, it's really cool. There's a lot of scenic places there. It's the atmosphere, especially around downtown when the Bucks are playing downtown at Pfizer Forum. It's awesome. And none of these national media pundits really ever take that into consideration, because I can't imagine why, because the last time these two teams were really relevant on the national stage was back in the 1980s. So they still have these thoughts in their heads, you know, oh, Milwaukee. And Milwaukee was a much different city back then, obviously, a lot smaller, you know. So it gets kind of a bad reputation for that. And I'm kind of sick of it. You shouldn't factor in market size when thinking about teams and how good they are. The Brewers this year, or last offseason, everyone's like, oh yeah, they're not going to beat the Cubs. Of course, the Cubs, a big market team, you know. They went out and beat the Cubs. Now this year it's saying, oh, it's a flash in the pan. The Brewers aren't going to be that good this year. They're going to win 80 games at most. And on the other side with the Bucks, it's, oh, the Bucks, oh, they disappoint every year, you know, even though they had only 2 years where they quote-unquote disappointed. They lost better seeds than them both of the times in the past 3 seasons that they've made the playoffs, and or past 3 times in 4 seasons, I should say. I mean, like, it's like it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, like, why people think that, all because of the market size. And people are saying, oh, they're just gonna suck again this year. They're gonna choke in the playoffs again. I mean, it's obviously just a case of, like, market bias, you know? People love the big market teams. Let me say this. Colin Cowherd is the biggest goddamn joke on TV. Maybe even more so than Skip Bayless, because this dude is so full of himself. And he only focuses on the big markets. He only talks about the trendiest of the trendy things in the entire country, in the sports world. That's all he talks about. And I swear to God, like, I mean, I used to watch this guy's show. Now it's pretty obvious to me he's just a pompous asshole. And the way he goes around responding to everyone who disagrees with him, and, you know, he's on his high horse saying, oh, man, I know more about anyone else because I cover all the big market teams. Ha, ha, ha. You know, it's irritating. It's so irritating, so condescending. Everyone looks down on the Bucks. Everyone looks down on the Brewers. Let me tell you, they're coming for you. One of these two teams is going to win a championship in the next few years, and people are going to be like, wow, we really underestimated these guys. Well, you wouldn't have underestimated them if you actually paid attention. So why don't you start paying attention for once and stop limiting yourself to small-minded opinions that only deal with, like, you know, oh, well, they're the Bucks, they play in Milwaukee, so they can't be really that good. They're overrated, you know. Stop with that. I am sick of that. I'm tired of that, and I know it's probably never going to change until one of these teams wins a championship, but you know what? That's just my 2 cents. I really wanted to make a video on it. I can't stand people like that who go around saying, oh, well, they're just playing Milwaukee, so that means they're going to suck. That means they're going to underachieve or whatever, you know. So, anyways, guys, though, thanks for watching. That's my rant for today. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time, and go Milwaukee!